The very first bill we'll introduce in Parliament will be a tax cut for the middle class.
4 years ago, Justin Trudeau promised to boost Canada's middle class. But polls tell us that affordability still remains a top issue for voters in 2019. How expensive is life for Canadians right now? In major cities, it's getting harder and harder to buy a house. Vancouver was even named the second least affordable city in the world last year, with an average house price of $1.5 million. One study suggests it will take 23 years for a regular household in Vancouver just to save enough for a down payment. That might explain why millennials especially place housing affordability as their #1 issue. Data from last year shows that 86% of young Canadians would like to buy a home, but most feel it's become even more difficult over the past year, even in rural and suburban areas. And it's not just housing costs that make it hard for Canadians to build financial security. In 2018, the average household in Ontario spent more than $85,000. Now, a quarter of that went to housing, but about $15,000 was for taxes, with $12,000 on average for transport and $8,000 for food. Speaking of food, Canadian grocery bills are also on the rise this year. One estimate has overall food prices rising up to 3.5%. That means more than $400 for the average Canadian family. And the healthier the food, the more expensive it will be, with fruit and vegetable prices seeing the biggest jump. Put it all together, and affordability remains the most important issue for most Canadians in their everyday lives. Abacus data has found that voters want the federal government to prioritize policy changes that would make these costs more manageable.